Listen, if you want to understand people, if you want to understand yourself, there is one force that shapes more of your decisions, more of your relationships, and more of your life than almost anything else. Human desire, yes, sex attraction and the psychology behind it. And I'm not just talking about the act itself. I'm talking about what it represents: connection, energy, confidence, the deepest drive of human behavior. Let me tell you something powerful. Desire is the ultimate driver of human behavior. Think about it. Every action you've ever taken, whether you realize it or not, has been fueled by desire. Desire for love, desire for connection, desire for approval, desire for growth, desire for significance, and yes, desire for intimacy. Now, let's break this down psychologically. When you experience desire, your brain floods with dopamine. This chemical doesn't just make you feel good. It pushes you to act. It motivates you to move, to chase, to pursue. That's why people will risk comfort, risk rejection, sometimes even risk their entire lives for the chance to fulfill a deep desire. But here's the trap. Most people don't control their desires. Their desires control them. They're chasing the wrong things: temporary highs, shallow validation, meaningless distractions. And then they wonder why they feel empty. Desire itself isn't the problem. The problem is misdirected desire. See, when you channel desire the right way, it becomes fuel. It gives you drive. It gives you passion. It gives you hunger. That's the same energy that makes someone magnetic, irresistible, not just sexually, but in every area of life. People don't just admire someone like that. They want to be around them, follow them, work with them, love them. So the question is this: what are you desiring most in your life right now? Are you craving comfort, or are you craving growth? Are you addicted to the approval of others, or are you driven by the pursuit of your highest potential? Here's what I've learned coaching millions of people: your desires will either enslave you or they will empower you. If you let your biology take over, you become reactive. You chase short-term pleasure. But when you decide to harness desire consciously, you can channel it into building a body that radiates health, creating relationships that overflow with passion, and building a business or career that fulfills not only your needs, but also contributes to the world. The truth is, most people never stop to ask themselves, what do I really want? They settle for crumbs when they could have a feast. They settle for mediocrity when they could create magic. So here's my challenge to you: take back control of your desire. Instead of letting it push you toward distractions, direct it toward your vision. Write it down, own it, feel it with every cell in your body. Because when your desire is aligned with your purpose, remember, desire is the spark, but you are the one who decides whether it burns you or fuels you. Choose wisely, choose growth, choose passion. And when you do, you won't just live, you'll come alive. Think about the people you're naturally drawn to. Is it always about their looks, their status, their money?
No.
You're pulled toward their energy, their presence, the way they walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without even saying a word. Psychology proves this. Studies in social behavior show that humans are wired to respond to energy before logic. Your brain, in the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, is already making decisions. Can I trust this person? Do I feel safe? Do I feel alive around them? And it's not their words that make the decision. It's their energy. Energy is emotional state. When you're radiating confidence, joy, certainty, people feel it. Their mirror neurons fire, and they begin to mirror that same energy back to you. That's why a person full of life can walk into a room, and suddenly everyone feels lighter, more alive, more engaged. But here's the flip side. If you walk in carrying fear, insecurity, or low energy, people feel that too. This is why attraction is not just physical, it's psychological. You can have the perfect looks, the perfect words, but if your energy is off, people won't connect with you. But if your energy is strong, aligned, authentic, you become magnetic. Now here's the mistake most people make. They wait for the world to give them energy. They wait for someone to validate them, to love them, to notice them. But real attraction doesn't come from waiting. It comes from generating. The most powerful people in the world don't rely on circumstances for energy. They create it. They decide, I will show up with passion. I will bring certainty. I will be a force of nature. And people cannot help but be drawn to them. So let me challenge you. What energy are you bringing into the world right now? When you walk into a room, are you lifting others higher? Or are you draining the space? When you speak, do people feel your conviction? Or do they feel your doubt? The truth is, every moment of your life, you're broadcasting energy. It's not optional. The only question is, what kind? Because your energy is your personal brand. It tells the world who you are before you even open your mouth. Here's the breakthrough. You don't need to fake it. You don't need to be someone you're not. You simply need to choose a higher state. Move your body. Breathe with intensity. Focus on gratitude, passion, vision. When you shift your energy, you shift your presence. And when you shift your presence, you shift your attraction. So from today, stop asking, how can I get people to like me? That's the wrong question. Start asking, how can I bring more energy, more love, more certainty into this moment? Because when you do that, attraction takes care of itself. Remember, energy is influence. Energy is attraction. Energy is power. And it's 100% in your control. Now, what do I mean by state? Your state is your emotional home. It's the energy you live in most of the time, whether it's passion, joy, gratitude, or stress, fear, and doubt. And here's the truth. The state you live in doesn't just affect you. It directly shapes the quality of your relationships. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how when you're stressed out, impatient, or angry, the people around you react differently? Suddenly, little problems become big problems. Arguments flare up over nothing. But when you're in a beautiful state, grateful, playful, loving, suddenly everything feels lighter. Challenges don't feel like threats. They feel like opportunities. Psychology backs this up. Neuroscience shows us that emotions are contagious. Our nervous systems are constantly sensing with the people around us. That's why when one person in a family is in a negative state, it spreads. But it works the other way too. If you choose to elevate your state, you lift others with you. Here's the key. You cannot control every event in your life, but you can absolutely control the meaning you give it and the state you live in. And when you do, your relationships transform. Because the truth is, people don't want to be around someone who drains them. They want to be around someone who lifts them higher, who makes them feel alive, who reminds them of what's possible. So many people ask, how can I fix my relationship? How can I make my partner love me more? How can I attract better people? And I always tell them, stop focusing on them. Start focusing on you, change your state, and your relationships will follow. If you consistently show up in a loving state, if you train your body and mind to live in passion instead of fear, your relationships cannot help but grow. Why? Because your energy becomes a gift, and people are drawn to gifts. Now let me challenge you. What's the state you live in most of the time? Be honest. Is it stress, worry, doubt, or is it joy, gratitude, love? Because whatever it is, that's what you're giving to the people closest to you. Don't just hope for better relationships. Create them by changing your state. Train yourself to shift. Move your body. Breathe with intensity. Focus on what you're grateful for. Choose love over fear. If you practice this daily, your relationships won't just improve, they'll transform. Remember, relationships aren't destroyed by lack of love. They're destroyed by living in lazy states. Anger, fear, resentment. And they're elevated by beautiful states, love, passion, playfulness. So from this moment forward, make the decision. I will own my state. I will be the one who brings the energy. I will show up in love, in passion, in gratitude. Because when you do, you don't just change your relationships. You change your entire life. Think about it. You can have all the money in the world, the cars, the house, the success. But if your relationships are empty, if you feel disconnected, you're not going to feel fulfilled. Why? Because human beings are wired for connection. It's in our psychology. It's in our DNA. Psychologists will tell you one of the greatest predictors of long-term happiness is not wealth, not fame, not achievements. It's the strength and depth of your relationships. Studies on human longevity prove this. People who live the longest and happiest lives are not the ones with the most possessions, but the ones with the strongest bonds of love, friendship, and community. Here's why relationships magnify our emotions. When life is amazing, sharing it makes it 10 times better. When life is painful, having someone by your side makes it bearable. Relationships are the multiplier of human experience. But here's the reality. Too many people settle for relationships that drain them, that keep them small, that don't bring out the best in them. They tolerate negativity, resentment, or even worse, indifference. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why their life feels flat. You deserve more than that. You deserve relationships that ignite you, that push you, that inspire you. Relationships where you're not just loved, but celebrated. Where you don't just give, but you grow. But here's the key to create those kinds of relationships. You must first become the kind of person who brings that energy. Because the truth is, you attract what you are. If you want extraordinary relationships, you've got to show up in an extraordinary way. So let me challenge you right now. Are you investing in your relationships the way you invest in your work, your goals, your dreams? Or are you giving them the leftovers of your time and energy? Because whatever you feed will grow, and whatever you neglect will wither. If you want a better life, start by making your relationships a priority. Put down the phone. Be present. Listen deeper. Love louder. Celebrate more. Stop waiting for others to change and step up as the leader of love in your life. Because at the end of the day, when you strip everything else away, what really matters, not the car, not the job title, not the number in your bank account. What matters is who's sitting next to you, who's got your back, who you can laugh with, cry with, grow with. Remember, life is a collection of moments, and the moments that matter most are the ones you share with others. So decide today, I will create extraordinary relationships. Because when I do, I create an extraordinary life. Here's the truth most people miss. People don't fall in love with you because of who you are on paper. They fall in love with how they feel when they're around you. Think about it. We live in a world obsessed with image, looks, titles, achievements, bank accounts, but strip all of that away and what remains? Emotion. At the deepest level, human beings are emotional creatures. Psychology proves it. Over 9% of our decisions are driven by emotion, not logic. We justify with logic, but the spark that makes us move, the force that makes us connect is emotion. So what does that mean for you? It means if you want to build extraordinary relationships, romantic, business, friendships, you must focus less on impressing people and more on impacting their state. When someone walks away from an interaction with you, do they feel drained, judged, ignored? Or do they feel seen, valued, inspired, alive? That feeling is everything. It's what makes people want to come back. It's what creates loyalty, attraction, and trust. And here's the key: you control that. Most people think connection is about having the perfect words, the perfect look, the perfect script. But the truth is, it's about presence. It's about energy. It's about intention. If your intention is to give, to lift, to love, people will feel it. If your intention is to take, to impress, to manipulate, they'll feel that too. Here's the psychological secret: people don't remember every word you said, but they remember the emotion you left them with. They remember if you made them feel small or made them feel unstoppable. So the question is, how do you want people to feel in your presence? Do you want them to feel safe, excited, empowered? Love it. Because you can create that every single day by shifting your focus outward instead of inward. Stop asking, what do they think of me? And start asking, how can I serve them? How can I make them feel amazing in this moment? And let me challenge you, look at the relationships in your life right now. Are you a source of energy, love, and inspiration? Or have you been coasting, showing up distracted, tired, half present? Because if you want deeper love, greater influence, stronger bonds, you've got to raise your standard for the way you make people feel. Decide today that when people leave your presence, they will feel better than when they entered it. Decide that you will be a source of certainty, love, and joy. Because when you consistently give people that gift, not only will they love you, they will trust you, follow you, and stay with you. Remember this: the greatest currency in relationships is not words, not status, not wealth. It's emotion. Give people the gift of beautiful emotion, and you'll create connections that last a lifetime. Everybody wants change. They want better relationships, more success, more energy, more love. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear: nothing out there is going to change until you change in here. Transformation starts within. You can switch jobs, switch partners, switch environments, but if you don't shift your mindset, your beliefs, your emotional home, you're just carrying the same problems into a new place. Psychology proves this. Our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. The patterns you repeat inside, your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, show up in your health, your finances, your relationships, your destiny. Here's the breakthrough: your life doesn't change when you get something new. Your life changes when you become someone new. That's the difference between surface change and true transformation. But here's the problem: most people are waiting. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect partner, the perfect opportunity, thinking when things out there change, I'll finally feel happy, confident, fulfilled. That's backwards. You have to flip it. The moment you change your inner state, your standards, your beliefs, your energy, you begin to attract a new reality. You've seen it before. Ever notice when someone decides to change their life, really decides, suddenly doors open, opportunities appear, people treat them differently? That's not luck. That's not magic. That's alignment. When your inner world shifts, the outer world responds. So here's my challenge to you: stop waiting. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Stop waiting for someone else to fix you. Decide right now to take ownership of your transformation. Decide who you must become to create the life you want. Ask yourself, if I was already living the life of my dreams, how would I think? How would I act? How would I show up in my relationships, my work, my health? Then start living that way. No, don't wait for the outcome. Be the outcome. Because transformation isn't about someday, it's about this moment. It starts with small decisions: choosing gratitude over complaining, courage over fear, action over procrastination. It starts with raising your standard and saying, I will no longer accept less than I'm capable of. And here's the truth: when you transform yourself, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of everyone around you. Your energy, your example, your courage, it ripples out. You become the spark that ignites transformation in your family, your community, your world. Remember this: the external world is a mirror. If you want more love, be love. If you want more respect, give respect. If you want more success, embody discipline, passion, and hunger. Transformation starts within. And when you own that truth, you step into unstoppable power. Because nothing out there has control over you. You are the source. You are the creator. And the moment you decide, your new life begins.